Hey folks, welcome back once again to Chris Wide Africa. This is Chris coming to you live from central Pennsylvania. Breaking news as President Donald Trump is being transferred to Walter Reed Medical Center, the U.S. Army and Navy's medical center in Washington, D.C., located in Bethesda. The president apparently has symptoms associated with the COVID-19, the Wuhan coronavirus, and this is breaking news now live from the East Coast here at 6:06 on the East Coast here in the United States as President Trump is set to be transported to Walter Reed Medical Center in a, I don't want to say shocking, but interesting development, ladies and gentlemen. In the midst of this presidential campaign, the chief executive of the United States, who tested positive last night for COVID-19, is now going to be transferred. I'm going to bring in the video feed from this. This is live from Fox News and offer commentary as we await this to happen. But this is the live situation, ladies and gentlemen. Let me turn my camera off and I'll adjust it in just a moment. This is the situation on the lawn of the White House at the moment on the East Coast of the United States, ladies and gentlemen, as President Trump is apparently going to be transported to Walter Reed Medical Center here in a very short future. This feed has been going on for some time now. People are waiting for it to occur. You see the traffic going by there in the front and foreground, people blocking the view of the camera. As you can see, this is on that side of the White House. Quite a zoom on the camera there. Marine One sitting on the lawn of the White House, ladies and gentlemen, as we wait to find out President Trump going to Walter Reed Medical Center, which is located there in Bethesda. Erica, good evening to you. Welcome back to the stream. Surprise, surprise. We thought we were done. More things coming up. Yeah, fingers crossed, saying prayers for the president. Unlike the legions of vile leftist trolls who have been wishing him ill health and death, and also listening to the ABC News feed a short while ago and listening to the vile nonsense being spewed by so-called reporters on ABC News who are saying that what's going on with Donald Trump is that he's been denying this virus and dismissing it out of hand. No, what Donald Trump has done throughout this crisis, this situation, has conveyed a sense of confidence and reassurance to folks about what's actually happening here. To see the news media lie about it is disheartening. Excuse me. But folks, thanks for tuning in right now. I don't expect to see much of an audience here. Good to see Eric is back. You were just checking. Yeah, it's probably not much in the way of notifications. This is a breaking news development with President Donald Trump now going to be transported to Walter Reed Medical Center. You can see Marine One sitting there on the front lawn of the White House in Washington, D.C. in the early evening hours of October 2nd, 2020 here. Marine One, of course, is the transport that gets the president to and from downtown Washington, D.C. to Andrews Air Force Base, or Joint Base Andrews, as they like to call it now. But Andrews Air Force Base is that looked like a hearse. That was somebody's minivan. It looked like a hearse that went by there. But yeah, you see the traffic there is the film crew. This is a Fox News feed, folks, in case you're wondering where it's coming from. There was no public feeds other than this, so I brought this one up. And as it develops, we'll keep you up to date. I don't know how long I'll stick with this or how long to keep the president inside. But the news are speculating left and right, already talking about, will the president be walking out on his own strength, or will he be brought out on a stretcher? Will the president be strong as he enters the aircraft? Well, folks, we'll see what happens here. But as I said, breaking news in Washington, D.C. as President Donald Trump, who was just released that he tested positive last night, barely 15 hours ago, ladies and gentlemen, 16 hours ago, and now is going to be transported to Bethesda for Walter Reed Medical Center. I've been there. It's a beautiful location. If you saw the photograph for the post on this channel for this stream, you will see that's an aerial photograph of the current Walter Reed Medical Center in Bethesda. Walter Reed was originally located in the northern part of D.C., slightly to the east, and it was there for decades until, in a base consolidation effort, it was closed, and the medical center, which was an Army medical center, was relocated to Bethesda, which is where the Naval Medical Center was. And that site was expanded with new facilities to bring in the medical personnel from Walter Reed, merge with Bethesda Medical Center, the Naval Medical Center, and create a single joint service medical center. So it was Walter Reed Army Hospital. Now it's Walter Reed Medical Center. That's located in Bethesda, Maryland. That's to the north of D.C. And so in order to get him there in a quick fashion, the president will travel by Marine One. And you can see that the aircraft is standing ready there in Washington, D.C. I have the volume off on the stream right now, folks, but I'll bring it back on once we see something start to develop. and we'll see what we hear. But for the meantime, folks, breaking news in Washington, D.C. This is unprecedented. We've not seen this any time in recent memory. The last time I remember a president being, and we don't know that the president's incapacitated. I'm not going to use that word because we expect him to come out to the helicopter. It apparently is displaying, according to media reports, indications or symptoms of the Wuhan coronavirus COVID-19, for which he tested positive last night. Apparently, those signs include a cough and chills and a fever. So we will see what happens with the president when he comes out. Now, before the media misrepresent things, if the president comes out and he's wearing something or he's covered by something, let's not freak out with media speculation and assume the worst. If he is in fact positive for this virus, it's only prudent that he wears something so he doesn't spread it to the crew in the aircraft. So there you go, folks. Anyway, that's what's going on. Really small audience here at the top. I didn't expect to see many people, but really not being disappointed. Eric is here and a couple other folks. Thanks for tuning in. Well, folks, that's what's going on at the moment. I thought I'd go live because I was hoping that we'd see the president come out. It would be certainly historic from the standpoint. The last time I remember a president in a situation like this would be President Ronald Reagan after the assassination attempt when he was shot there in Washington, D.C. I think that's the last time I remember something like this. But for the moment, folks, we're awaiting President Trump to come out of the White House to Marine One. Meantime, I've scheduled a stream for the launch of the Antares rocket later this evening, and that's 8:45 that the launch takes place. So at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, I'll go live and be streaming the Antares launch. For those who are able to tune in, get out of the way, Mr. Bicyclist. Lots of looky-loos in Washington, D.C. as this unprecedented event is unfolding in front of our eyes, ladies and gentlemen. President Donald Trump about to be transferred from the White House to Walter Reed Medical Center for medical care. This is unprecedented in history. Of course, we also know that the First Lady, Melania Trump, has tested positive for the virus. She is, of course, much younger than the president, much more fit than the president, we must say. So hopefully she's not suffering any ill effects and is able to weather this like many healthy people are. Folks, unprecedented in the midst of a presidential campaign. Here we have the president infected with the Wuhan coronavirus, Beijing's bio-revenge. Donald Trump, the only president to stand up to the Chinese Communist authorities in the last 4 decades. There you go. Yeah, bicyclist. Yeah, I saw that Erica went by. Hey, Hendo, welcome back. Good to see you there again. So imagine the soldier or the crew chief who's standing there. I assume that's who that is at the front of the helicopter waiting at parade rest for the president to come out. That's hardly a desirable situation to be in as well. The aircraft is powered up because it was there a moment ago. We saw, there you go. There's the light that's on the tail rotor that's flashing there. So yes, the aircraft has got it's got its APU, its auxiliary power unit running at least, even though the blades aren't turning. So when we see those blades start to turn, we'll definitely know something's up. Yep. Eric, it says, I can't shake you guys off. Yes, Colette says the China virus, indeed, the Beijing bio-revenge is what I've been calling it this week. After we've, well, not this week, after Donald Trump tested positive for it. Of course, you know, the left loves to talk about Russia collusion. They don't talk about their collusion or Joe Biden's collusion with the Chinese Communist Party or with the Russians. But in fact, Donald Trump is the Chinese Communist Party's worst nightmare, and he is also Putin's worst nightmare. It's his buddy Hillary Clinton who bought fake dossiers and colluded with the Russians to try to prevent Donald Trump from becoming president. Failed miserably. But anyway, folks, here we see this feed from the White House. This is a Fox News feed, and I can see a number of people. You can't see it because I'm blocking it, but a number of people who are gathered down below the steps on the left-hand side. Here comes the photographer. They've obviously let the media in there to film this. There's a photographer taking a photograph of presumably a crew chief, not the pilot. The pilots would be behind the controls, Marine One. By the way, folks, I used to work at the airfield where Marine One is based out of. There's a couple different aircraft, not a single one. But that airfield is over at Bowling Airfield on the other side of the Anacostia River there in Washington, D.C. And that's where Marine One is based out. Of course, Air Force One is famously based out of Andrews Air Force Base, now known as Joint Base Andrews. It's a dumb name. The Department of Defense changing the names of its military bases to Joint Base. It's stupid. I don't like that. So Erica says, was looking for something to listen to and fall asleep and saw Chris was on live. Well, there you go, folks. I'm live because of breaking news. President Donald John Trump apparently is going to be transported by Marine One from the White House to Walter Reed Medical Center to undergo treatment and care there. We saw, of course, famously on Twitter, Donald Trump's tweet last night that he and his spouse, Melania, had tested positive for COVID-19, the Wuhan coronavirus, or the China flu, as Donald Trump likes to call it. Last night, just a mere 15 or 16 hours ago, he announced to the world that he was positive for COVID. And now here we are, barely, not even a day later, he is being transported to Walter Reed Medical Center, ostensibly for care. Multiple media outlets are reporting that Donald Trump is experiencing symptoms of COVID-19, such as chills, a fever, and a cough. And so if, in fact, that is the case, ladies and gentlemen, that's it should be concerning. We'll see what happens. But you are seeing history unfold in front of your eyes. And this is unprecedented to see the President of the United States being taken from the lawn of the White House to Walter Reed Medical Center for this. Now, we've seen them taken before for routine care, for other treatments, but this is quite unusual, folks. Something very different to see. This is a live feed from Fox News in Washington, D.C. that you're watching on the screen behind me. And as I mentioned, there's a number of reporters, also obviously some Secret Service agents floating around and other officials outside the steps of the White House there. Now you can see the one journalist running around with the cameras there on the right-hand side. It looks like we've got some movement, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure. You cannot see it because it's behind me, but I'm looking at the feed. It looks like a few folks are wandering out. I don't know if the president's preparing to come out now, but we will likely have difficult time seeing the president, as we'll have to rely on the news media's photographs, or if there's any live cameras, which I doubt, on the other side of Marine One, because, of course, he will be blocked. There is movement towards Marine One now. I can't see who it is. I can only see the feet entering Marine One. Let's see if we got anything on the feed. Nope. All we hear is the noise in the background, so I'm going to leave that going in case Fox News breaks in with some updates. But we have just seen people walk across the lawn and enter Marine One. That looks to be the crew chief who's by the door to the aircraft now. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know if that was the president or not. I suspect it may have been. And we'll know in just a moment. If the crew chief enters the aircraft, then we'll know for certain that it's the president. If not, it's probably part of medical staff and/or entourage associated with the president. But we still see the crew chief has not entered the aircraft. Now he's blocked by the water fountain. I can't see his feet, but he did not enter the aircraft. More tellingly, the rotors have not begun to turn on the aircraft. I suspect that as the president is ready to come out. We do, however, see the light on the tail rotor assembly, but also now if you see on the wing pods, you'll see the green light lit there, which would indicate that the aircraft is preparing to take off. So I don't know if that light was on previously. I didn't see it. But there we go. There go the rotors, ladies and gentlemen. So either the president was in that group of people who walked out there for transport to Walter Reed, or he's about to come out now. I still see the crew chief's feet down there below the door. At least that looks to be the case. So here we go. This is unprecedented, ladies and gentlemen. This is history in the making. And let's hope that he's going to get good care at Walter Reed. I myself have received treatment at Walter Reed Medical Center for an issue that I had when I was stationed at National Security Agency, but at that time it was not located in Bethesda, but rather Walter Reed was located in the northeastern part of D.C., at the old campus. And so we see the blades turning on Marine One. This aircraft will transport President Donald Trump from the White House to Walter Reed Medical Center. We're just waiting for it to take off now, ladies and gentlemen. If in fact, I don't know if that was the president, but I suspect the president may in fact already be on board, given the fact that no one has come out since then. But we are waiting to see what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully we'll get some feedback on this shortly. Hendo, thanks for sharing the link. I appreciate that. A few people have tuned in now. Thanks for tuning in, folks. You're watching History in the Making here. This is Marine One on the lawn of the White House. It's going to transport President Trump from the White House to Walter Reed Medical Center. I understand that President Trump is not transferring authority to Vice President Pence. He's still lucid, he's still cogent, and is still serving as the United States President, ladies and gentlemen. That's an important distinction. So multiple media outlets have reported that President Trump is experiencing symptoms associated with the Wuhan coronavirus, COVID-19, the Beijing bio-revenge. They have indicated that he is suffering from a sore throat, and there it goes. So, in fact, he is on the aircraft, ladies and gentlemen. President Donald J. Trump is on Marine One. That was, in fact, him coming out with his entourage. Marine One is now departing the White House lawn for Walter Reed Medical Center, ladies and gentlemen, as you watch this historic moment, unprecedented event. Unprecedented, ladies and gentlemen. It's as if it's something out of a Hollywood film is what we're watching here right now. There's President Donald John Trump and Marine One exiting the White House and headed to Walter Reed Medical Center. It's truly something unusual, folks. Not something we're accustomed to seeing. It's very unusual, quite different. And you can see, of course, Secret Service up there on the roof as Marine One takes off. This is truly unusual, ladies and gentlemen. History in the making. It'll just be a few minutes to get from the White House to Walter Reed Medical Center, folks. It's a short distance by helicopter, and the aircraft is away. Hank, I don't know the purpose of it. Apparently he's got symptoms of the virus, and you can see now that aircraft took off and went initially south, which is not where Walter Reed is at. You can see it's banking back to the north and heading out over the Potomac as it heads up over D.C. Yeah, so Colette, thank you for the commentary and the good running the comments about good running commentary. So there's the helicopter you can see in the background, headed off to Walter Reed now, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I don't know what the situation is here, folks. You can see that the helicopter actually flew in the direction that it's facing. That's the White House there where it took off from. Great camera angle here. You see people on the street there in Washington, D.C., and then it flew around and headed back out. So what I'm going to do now, I don't know who this is, a journalist or who that is, or just a citizen on the street there. But I think it might be a journalist, and they're waiting for that person to finish texting someone. But we'll see. I'm going to go ahead and put it on. Here we go. Is she going to talk? Are you going to talk, or are you just chatting there, lady? That's it. Okay, so that's the end of the Fox News feed, folks. So that's the end of that. Let me just get out of that window there very quickly, and I'll give you an update and share a few things about this before I jump out of here. Let me just fix my screen very quickly. I've got to make it fit the screen there, folks. Just a second. Give me a second here. Fit the screen. There you go. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Fox News live feed from the White House. You saw Marine One transport President Donald John Trump from the White House to Walter Reed Medical Center, which is located in Bethesda, Maryland, just north of the nation's capital. Yes, Hank, to answer your question, I don't know why, but I will say that it is, I don't want to say alarming, but it is definitely a concern to me that less than 24 hours after the president has been diagnosed or tested positive for this virus, that he's exhibiting symptoms of it already. That's a little frightening situation. So the question is, how recently, I would have lots of questions on this, but what was his most recent test? Was it 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, a week prior to this? Because, you know, he's getting tested periodically. And the question is, it's a very quick onset of symptoms, I suspect, for a virus like this. Very quick. As we've been told, you're supposed to quarantine yourself for 14 days if you've been exposed to it. You don't normally exhibit symptoms until 8 to 10 days after the fact, is what we've heard from scientists and medical practitioners. So my question is why is President Trump exhibiting symptoms of the virus so quickly within 24 hours, if in fact that is the case? Well, regardless of the case, ladies and gentlemen, our president has now been transported to Walter Reed Medical Center, and he is not transferring authority to the vice president. President Trump remains in control of the U.S. government at the moment, not the vice president. So that's important to make clear in case the media tries to distort the situation. So I just want to make that clear to you, ladies and gentlemen. President Donald Trump retains control of the United States government. He is still a president. He's acting in that capacity. He is going to Walter Reed Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland for treatment for his cough or sore throat and his chills and fever feeling. So that's what's happening at this hour, ladies and gentlemen. And thank you for tuning in. I just thought I would update people. It was a unbelievably shocking development in my mind. We're hearing all kinds of things. I was listening to George Stephanopoulos, and I'll have to give George Stephanopoulos credit. He was unbelievably balanced in his reporting, not his typical leftist drivel, but actually balanced in this. We've also heard breaking news that the Biden campaign has pulled their negative ads against Donald Trump. Is that what it takes, Joe, to get you to be a reasonable player? Is a serious health crisis? Is that what it is? But the funny thing is that the Biden campaign waited until now before doing it. They left their negative campaigns up all over, spewing all over my YouTube videos all day long until just now. They've just now announced that they're pulling their negative ads. I think that the honorable thing would have been to pull those this morning once they found out that Trump had tested positive. But no, they've kept it up. Now, while Stephanopoulos was objective and a reasonable commentator on this situation from what I heard on ABC News earlier, the other reporters or faux reporters on ABC News were not. Hearing all kinds of ridiculous nonsense about Donald Trump denying the virus, dismissing the virus, refusing to wear a mask, all of which are fiction. All of which are fiction. When of course, Chris Wallace tried to pull that leftist nonsense trick on Donald Trump. Why don't you believe in masks, sir? Donald Trump reached into his pocket and said, I believe in masks. Here, I got one right here with me. See? I wear it when it's appropriate. And because of that, the left hates him. Of course, they hate him for many reasons. So, folks, thanks for tuning in. You've seen history in the making here as a sitting president is, I hesitate to use the word evacuated, that's probably not the best verb, but is taken from the White House to Walter Reed Medical Center to deal with the impact of this virus, which has affected him. We don't know the president's condition, but we did see, although we could not see his face, we'll have to wait for the media photographs, and they should be posted very quickly because it's a digital age. The photographers obviously no doubt have loaded those photographs already up to news services, and I suspect that they're already being posted as we speak right now. Once I finish the stream, I'll go look for them, but I suspect that those photographs are being uploaded now. As you can see, it appeared that the people walking out to the aircraft who were blocked from us were walking on their own, but I can't verify that because all we could see was their feet. Kind of difficult to say. What I can say is it appeared as if everyone in the entourage walked out to the aircraft, which of course would include the President of the United States. So before the media speculates, I'm not going to speculate. Let's see if any photographs come up from that, which should happen pretty quickly. There were photographers on the scene in front of Marine One getting the view from the White House side, which was blocked to us with the cameras from where they're at. Folks, what about his wife, says Hank. His wife also tested positive. We don't know if she went to Walter Reed with him, either out of concern for him or also for care. We do not know. But again, symptoms like this do not appear within 24 hours. The test just confirmed that he was positive last night. So the question is, when did the president contract this? He was in Harrisburg just a few days back. I hope he didn't contract it there. I actually contemplated going to that rally, but more because I was concerned about parking at the airport than I was concerned about COVID, I didn't go. Maybe that was a prudent decision on my part, folks. But you have watched history in the making here. Trumpelstiltskin says Twitter announced they will ban accounts calling for his death. Oh, well, gee, after letting them be on all day long. Well, I don't buy that for a second, Trumpelstiltskin. Tens of thousands of vile leftist accounts have been online all day long cheering for Donald Trump's passing. Yeah, and Twitter says they're going to ban it. Piss on Twitter. It's leftist garbage. It should be stricken from the rolls. They should lose their corporate license for their conduct and their behavior. They're shameful. These two says, I thought Trump looked tired on the night of the debate. Yeah, some people said that during the debate. Remember, I gave him a B-. I said that he wasn't on top of his game. Maybe Trump wasn't on top of his game because he's already feeling the effects of the Wuhan coronavirus, COVID-19, or as Donald Trump calls it, the China virus, or as I call it now, Beijing's bio-revenge. Maybe he was already feeling it. Now dramatic shots of two helicopters coming into Walter Reed. What? Two helicopters? That doesn't make any sense. What's going on? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What is that? Let me see what's going on here. I don't see two helicopters. There is a live feed from ABC, which I don't have right now. Let me see if I can find that. Let me see this. See if I can find this. Now, here's ABC News going with the language medevac. I'm going to put this on for you folks and reduce myself, okay? Let's do this. I'm going to put ABC on. I'll risk a copyright claim here, but I'll do it anyway. This is ABC News. I'm going to give them credit, and I'm going to give you some feedback on this. So we're going to get, because ABC is carrying it live. Let me see if I can find C-SPAN, because then C-SPAN we won't have a problem with. Let me see if I can get it. Okay, so ABC has just jumped away from us, so I'm not going to go to ABC. Let me see if I can find a C-SPAN feed on this. Oh, here it is. Okay. Let's see if this is a live feed or if it's just a video. No, it's just a video. That doesn't help me. That doesn't help me. Let me get back to the ABC coverage then, folks. Sorry, folks. I'm just trying to get you a good feed here. But I don't see the two helicopters people are talking about there. That's okay. Yeah. So that ended there. Transferred to Walter Reed. Anyway, I'm going to end here shortly here, folks. ABC News has abandoned me there. To Walter. Oh, come on. Sorry. Walter Reed. See if we get any feed on that, folks. Let me see. Hopefully his action is more out of an abundance of caution than severity and illness. I'm hoping that's what the case is, Boss Deborah, but nonetheless, it's still a little one dislike on the stream. One dislike. Marine One landing at Walter Reed. Thank you for that, D. Stu. I don't know where you're getting your feed from. Maybe CNBC's got it going live here, but I don't see. ABC had it, Fox News, but Fox is done, so I don't know what's going on with that. Let me see what we can find here, folks. People carrying on YouTube, but that doesn't really help me. So these are all already finished streams, so I don't know what's going on with that. Not live. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, that's the situation, ladies and gentlemen. At this hour, President Donald Trump has been transferred to Walter Reed. ABC News reporter calling it a medevac. I said, arguably, I guess you could say that's the case, but I don't know that is the case. But anyway, so what else we got here? Y2, I don't know. Well, the security. That's right, Erica. Yeah. By the way, you usually don't see just one helicopter flying when the president's in the air. You're going to see more than one helicopter. And that's the same overseas, folks. When the president doing a visit overseas, that's so that no one knows which aircraft to target. So that's important. Yep, 2 helicopters coming into Walter Reed. Yep, always more than 2 helicopters take off as security measures. Absolutely right. Judge Doom's jury of sin says I sighed, then cat stretch. Heat wafted up from her cushion as support beam clicked. The rafter of the guy. What the heck? All right. Dislike on the stream. Well, folks, thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate folks popping in on this. You have watched here live on Chris White Africa, history in the making as President Donald Trump was transferred from the White House to Walter Reed Medical Center in Bethesda, Maryland on Marine One as a consequence of symptoms he's developed related to the Wuhan coronavirus COVID-19. Reportedly, multiple news outlets have said that President Trump has a cough or sore throat, chills, and a temperature. And so that has been reported by multiple outlets. We've seen Fox News, we've seen ABC, NBC, CNBC covering this, and the coverage has dropped off now. So this was an effort to bring breaking news to you folks to let you know what's going on. If we get more information on this, I will be streaming in 2 hours with the Antares launch, assuming that goes forward tonight. It was scrubbed last night. It is scheduled for 8:45 tonight. 0245 in South Africa and Botswana. I will be live at 8:30, so about 15 minutes before the launch, get you up to speed, and we'll watch the launch take place here live on Chris White Africa, courtesy of the NASA feed. And so that's what's coming up, folks. So I'm going to wrap up here in just a second. We hit close to 30 minutes, and I just want to get you up to speed with that. It's breaking news. President Donald Trump transferred from the White House less than 24 hours after having indicated he had tested positive yesterday for the Wuhan coronavirus. He is evacuated to Walter Reed. We don't know much about it other than it appears he walked out to the aircraft under his own power, but we didn't have access to see because the camera was on the wrong side of Marine One. Hopefully the photographers who took those photographs will have those published online or at major media outlets to let us see what the president looked like coming out. There will be endless speculation as to what's going on, what happened to the president, why now, what's happening. Folks, stay tuned for that. It's bound to happen. That's the nature of the media. They will speculate. Also, breaking news, his opponent, Joe Biden, the campaign has decided to pull their negative ads of the president, waiting a full 15, 16 hours after the president acknowledged that he was positive for COVID. They continue their attack ads all day long and only now have pulled the attack ads. Apparently, they probably polled and found out that they looked like cads in attacking someone who was ill, an elderly man. So, yeah, anyway, we'll see what happens, folks. But, there you go, the Donald and the U.S. flag. Thank you for that, Hank. But, folks, we will see what happens here. That's my coverage of this breaking news story of President Donald Trump evacuated. Ooh, that's the word from ABC, a medevac. But President Trump transferred from the White House on Marine One to Bethesda, where the Walter Reed Walter Reed Medical Center is now located. Bosch says, from what I've heard from my brother, who's a medical doctor, has seen multiple cases of COVID, noted the symptoms usually show up between 48 hours even until as late as 7 days after infection. Okay, so it's possible they could be 48 hours. I suspect it might have been from one of the rallies. You never know. Lots of people floating around out there. Also, this discussion about one of the White House aides, Hope, who tested positive that she might have been infected, and that's what brought it into the inner circle of the president. But what this does tell us, folks, is that this is a virus that anybody can get around the world, and just like influenza. So we need to start dealing with it as adults. Flying Boar has popped on the channel. Wow, for a $5 super chat. Thank you so much for that, Flying Boar. Trump tested positive, but Malema and Ramaphosa are ruining South Africa. Well, there's no doubt about that. No doubt about that. But I suspect that President Trump will be in the best medical care, and he will be fine. But it is a bit startling to see the president taken to Walter Reed so quickly. So perhaps they felt the White House staff wasn't equipped to do this, the medical facilities there, and that's why they took him to Walter Reed, which is premier medical facility for the U.S. military. And, of course, as commander-in-chief, he gets free care at that facility by the best medical practitioners in the U.S. military, both in the Army and Navy in particular. All right, folks. Well, I'm going to call it right there, and thank you for tuning in to this breaking news story. I need to get something to eat. This was an impromptu, unexpected stream. I never even got out of my chair when this was mentioned in the chat, so I went and checked on it. I found a live feed of it, and we carried it for a half an hour, folks. Anyway, thank you for tuning in. I'll be back in less than 2 hours for a live stream of the Antares rocket launch. So please tune in for that. If you're awake, if you're in South Africa, go get some sleep. Go get some sleep. If you're in Botswana, get some sleep. For those who are up at night anyway, please tune in, and we'll have you here for the Antares launch. Looking forward to that, and thank you so much. Flying Boar, is Pence in charge now, or is Pelosi acting like a president? Well, Pelosi's always acting like a president, or acting like an ass. Take your pick. No, Pence is not in charge. The president has not signed over his authority to Vice President Pence. Donald Trump is still the president and still responsible. So that's a good sign. The fact that it appeared that he walked to the helicopter, the fact that he's not transferred authority, means that this is likely, as Bosch Zebra asked, an abundance of caution. They're simply transferring the president, one would hope, based on those two indicators. We have no other indicators to go from, but those are the two indicators. He appeared to have walked on his own power to the aircraft, and he did not transfer power to the vice president. So that's a good sign. And there you go. All right, so Bosch says, thanks for the see you on the next stream. Okay, folks, that's it. I'm out of here. Thank you. Now the audience grows as I'm about to go. But thank you for tuning in. Bosch Zebra, thank you for the super chats. Maybe we'll see you later tonight on the Antares launch. Looking forward to that. Only a sick individual will give you a thumbs down. Best wishes and prayers to the POTUS. Yes, AC, very sick individuals who come to this channel. Not individual, this particular individual, who comes and gives a thumb down on virtually every one of my streams. It's just a hater, probably a bigot and a racist, a closet troublemaker. So yeah, even Joe Biden is showing gentlemanly conduct in the aftermath of this by pulling his negative ads. Although it took 16 hours to do it, they did pull the negative ads against Donald Trump. Frankly, they never should have run the negative ads against Donald Trump. But, we know Joe Biden has no respect for the office of president or for the president himself. Remember famously telling during the debate, why don't you just shut up, or listen to this clown. That's not presidential. And that's worse than the behavior of Donald Trump during the Republican primaries in 2016. Anyway, folks, that's it for now. I'll see you in about 2 hours. Flying Board, thank you so much for the super chats. Really appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in, folks. Have a good evening. Hang in there to say a prayer for the president and for Melania and for everybody around the world who's currently afflicted by this horrible virus from China. Not from Australia, not from South Africa, but from China. The Wuhan coronavirus, COVID-19. Wuhan, ladies and gentlemen, Wuhan virus. That's what it is. And now has afflicted the President of the United States, making it the Beijing bio-revenge. All right, folks, thanks a lot for tuning in. About 35 minutes into it. God bless. Have a good night. I'll give you a closeout video just to shut myself down here, and we'll catch you in a couple hours. Whoops, that's not supposed to be up there. Don't you hate it when that happens?